This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. In the Klansman gang trial, case against the 3 accused gangsters closed. 3 defendants in the Klansman one-down gang trial completed their case when the trial resumed in the Home Circuit Court on Monday. Defendants Khalifa Williams, Pete Miller, and Donovan Richards closed their case after the prosecution and defense lawyers agreed on information pertaining to their detention in custody. The final defendant, Tariq James, through his lawyer, also agreed similar information but has one witness to call before closing his case. The 4 who are among the remaining 28 defendants were seeking to adduce evidence from state records to prove that they were in custody at the time when the prosecution is alleging that they had participated in crimes with the gang. The trial had been on a break for the past 2 weeks after Chief Justice Brian Sykes contracted COVID-19. Before the break, the judge expressed frustration over the failure of lawyers for the 4 defendants to obtain the records that they intended to rely on in an early and organized manner. Sykes was also upset with both the defense and the prosecution's failure to examine the custody logbooks. The lawyers had seemingly waited until the prosecution had closed its case to obtain the records as well as the names and information of the police officers and correctional officers who had recorded the information. But according to them, they had faced the challenges in getting the information. The defendants in the trial are being tried on an indictment with 14 counts under the Criminal Justice Suppression of Criminal Organizations Act and the Firearms Act. Initially, 33 defendants were indicted, but 5 were freed. Cops shoot man of unsound mind in halfway tree. A man of unsound mind is presumed dead following a shooting incident in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew, after police arrived on the scene to suppress an altercation. The news understands that the incident took place shortly after noon on Monday. Eyewitnesses said the man attacked workers inside the transport center with a machete. Police officers were called to quell the situation, but upon arrival of the lawmen, the man turned his attention to the officers. He was shot during the altercation. The incident has caused bumper-to-bumper traffic in the area, and the traffic is being diverted. Police from the St. Andrew Central Division are investigating. Protest in Nannyville over alleged police shooting. Residents of Nannyville Gardens, St. Andrew, took to the streets on Monday to protest the shooting death of 2 men who were allegedly gunned down by police in the area last week. The residents say the men were killed in cold blood and are calling on the authorities to intervene. The deceased are 26-year-old Prince Davis and Oreen Lee, 36. The Independent Commission of Investigations has also launched a probe into the incident in which 2 other men were injured. The shooting reportedly involved officers assigned to the counter-terrorism and organized crime of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Man killed in Manchester crash, a woman hospitalized. A man died as a result of injuries he sustained in a motor vehicle crash on the Melrose Hill bypass in Manchester on Monday morning. The deceased has not yet been identified. According to police reports, the man was driving a BMW sedan uphill towards Mandeville when he lost control of the vehicle and crashed into a utility pole. A woman who was also in the vehicle was injured in the impact. Both victims were taken to hospital, where the man was pronounced dead and the woman admitted. The incident occurred approximately 1 a.m. Man gunned down in Old Harbour. A 53-year-old St. Catherine man was gunned down in Old Harbour in the parish on Saturday. The deceased has been identified as Errol Smith of a Capture Land Phase 2 address in Old Harbour. The police's corporate communications unit confirmed the incident. Reports are that at about 12:45 p.m., residents reported hearing gunshots and summoned the police. Smith was later pronounced dead at hospital. 13-year-old among 3 found dead at a St. Anne home. A 13-year-old boy is among 3 people found dead at a house in Freehill Bamboo in St. Anne Monday morning. The deceased have been identified as Andrea Ruttery, 45, a chef, Lawrence Badal, otherwise called Paul, a 50-year-old farmer, and Micah Bonito, a student. All three are of a Freehill address. Reports are that all three were at home with another 15-year-old boy. It is alleged that about 8:20 a.m., the 15-year-old got up and noticed that Micah was not in the room. He then went into the living room and saw blood all over. Following a further search, Badal was reportedly found lying on a sofa in the living room with his throat slashed with a machete in his lap and a knife in his right hand. Ratri and Micah's bodies were found in a bedroom in a pool of blood. The police said there were no signs of breaking as the entire house was locked up. Senior Superintendent of Police in charge of operations in St. Anne, Dwight Powell, told the news that the bodies have what appeared to be knife and machete wounds. Police probing if St. Andrew chef killed in reprisal. The St. Andrew North Police are investigating whether Saturday's murder of a chef on the Rose Hall Main Road in Lawrence Tavern is linked to an ongoing gang feud elsewhere in St. Andrew. The deceased has been identified as 44-year-old John Wanson Anderson from the Rose Hall community. Reports from the Lawrence Tavern police are that Anderson was selling soup at his roadside shop when he was attacked by gunmen who shot him in the head. He died on the spot. The men escaped on foot. The police are probing if the killing is linked to the gang feud in Park Lane off Red Hills Road. Anderson was connected to a faction and relocated from Park Lane some time ago, the news has been told. Last Wednesday, 2 men were killed while traveling in a taxi in the area, an incident reportedly connected to the feud. Dead is 63-year-old taxi driver Lloyd Clark and Rohan Tulloch, who was in the front passenger seat of a white Probox motor car. 2 other passengers, a woman and a child, were also shot and injured. One victim of Vernon Field drag race crash dies. A woman who was injured when an out-of-control race car slammed into spectators at a drag racing event at the Vernon Field Aerodrome in Clarendon on Sunday afternoon has died. She died Sunday night while undergoing surgery at Maypen Hospital. Several other spectators were injured at the event, which was being staged at the airstrip. One of the drag vehicles veered off the track and ran into the spectators. The news was informed that there was concerns about whether the meet should have been held after persons released more than 50 gallons of oil onto the airstrip on Saturday. Efforts were reportedly made by the organizers to clean up the oil. An accident reconstruction team attached to the Clarendon Police Division was dispatched to the scene. Caribbean Airlines passengers no longer required to wear masks. Passengers flying with Caribbean Airlines are no longer required to wear masks. In a media release, the airline said effective immediately, masks are no longer required at check-in, while boarding and during flights. The policy will be in place until September 19. However, the airline is still advising that a mask be worn as an additional layer of protection. Caribbean Airlines says it will maintain a strict sanitation program for its aircraft and its premises. The decision of Caribbean Airlines is in keeping with the ending of a mandatory face mask in public spaces in Trinidad and Tobago. Face masks are still required at medical clinics and hospitals. Failure to do so could attract a penalty of up to $2,000. Taxi operators in Mango Valley, St. Mary blocked the road in protest. Traffic has been halted along the coastal highway at Huddersfield in St. Mary after the police used tear gas in an attempt to disperse a crowd of protesting taxi operators. The protesters have blocked the thoroughfare with their bodies. The taxi operators from Mango Valley in St. Mary are agitating for the main road in the community to be repaired. They say the road has been in a deplorable state for years and that there has been promises to fix it but no action. Right now we want a decent road. We want it paved off. Mall, Baba Green, straight through. We don't need no more patching. We need some good road, said one of the protesters. The taxi operators are calling for the Member of Parliament for Western St. Mary, Robert Montague, to intervene.
Are you here? What about here? We want some good with a mango boy go fellow. And be a promise. Come there, sweet talk and sweet promise, and that's it. Right now we want a decent road. We don't want a black road. We want it to keep pave off, mall, barber green, trade through, decent trade. We don't need no more patches. We need some good road.
Mocha arrests another scammer in St. James. The major organized crime and anti-corruption agency has charged the 29-year-old Giovanni Carter of Clarendon with possession of identity information following a multi-agency operation in Cambridge District, St. James, last Thursday, July 14. Mocha agents, in coordination with the Lodge Scam Task Force, conducted a joint operation in the area where Carter and an unidentified man were taken into custody. The team executed a warrant under the Law Reform Act 2013 and searched the premises in the presence of both men. The search resulted in the seizure of several electronic devices, including a laptop and a number of cell phones. According to Mocha's press officer, Detective Inspector Antoinette Morrison, the success of the operation is a direct result of the joint approach that Mocha and our partners have adopted in tackling the pervasive lottery scamming crime in Western Jamaica. We believe that our partnerships will continue to detect, disrupt, and deter these activities and reduce the levels of criminality there. Mocha continues to encourage persons to report what they know about scamming and other major organized criminal activities across the island by using the Mocha Tipline portal at www.mocha.gov.jm or by direct message on its Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. Persons may also contact the agency at 876-906-5848 or 876-754-3435. Mocha pledges that all communications will be treated with the utmost discretion and confidentiality. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.